So I was down at Harbor Freight today, and they had this hatchet for $6. And I got to thinking about it, and I figured, you know what? I just got this really nice little hatchet, this Collins, at a yard sale, and it was $5. So they cost about the same, but I wanted to talk a little bit about the difference between value and cheap. So beginning with the grip, I can feel it right there. That's a little wide and narrow for me. I don't like it on my little finger there. It's kind of narrow right in here. It's, of course, it looks like it's a mimic kind of this original pattern, but you'll see how this kind of jogs out there, and it fits very naturally in the hand because your palm kind of curves out there, and I think they didn't really plan for that when they put this one together. How the heads are attached right away, I have a problem with this. That's a rolled cotter pin that goes all the way through the head. You can see daylight on the other side of it there. Super impressed with that. It is fully potted in there, but just not a great assembly. And it looks to me like that head's on there just a bit crooked. It's kind of weighted to one side. Hatchet really isn't a tool for splitting wood. It's kind of a multi-purpose tool. You can use them in carpentry, shipbuilding. It's kind of a carpenter's tool, right? And so you'll notice you have a nice taper on here, very fine blade. And then on this one, it's just kind of a blunt, maybe splitting firewood kind of setup. The grind on the edge is not that great. This is significantly better. If you check some of my older videos, there's an axe handle I carved with this very hatchet at this grind. I bought it at the yard sale, came back and carved with it. This has been refiled a couple of times, so it's not quite centered, but that's not terrible. So it's kind of a test. First we'll whittle through this 2x4 and see how it goes. Let's start with the Harbor Freight. Now I'll take a crack at it with the Collins. So that dropped about 10 seconds off my... Okay, so now we're going to use the Collins here and flatten out one side of this roundy and see how that goes. I'm just going to
watch you.
Okay, you just watch.
Wood, it's looking really messy. It's really gory. Old axe, and then it's going to try a new one. But...
Shh, camera's running. So you can see we got a pretty good finish there, just for being real quick. And I got a relatively flat face. So now we'll try that again with the Harbor Freight one and see how that heavier angle on the blade does. All right.
Okay, Maxie. I got you, Max.
So right away, I got to take a bigger bite to get a hit. Can't come in at as fine an angle.
Max.
Merritt.
On the very edge by myself, and you're not scared. Go, Daddy.
Thank you, Max. So our end result's not too bad. I got it flat, but there was a lot more. It felt a lot heavier in the hand than the Collins did. So I'm gonna go throw them on the scale and see if they actually weigh on the scale real quick. So my Collins is 1 pound, 10 ounces, more or less. And this is nearly 2 pounds. So 1.25 pounds, not so much. It did feel a lot heavier to work with, and I don't feel like I got a lot for that extra weight. My hand was working a lot harder. This handle isn't great. So I'm going to say the Collins is probably a little hatchet all the way. In closing, I want to talk a little bit about value. So this unit sells for $6. And I can tell you I worked in manufacturing for a little bit. If this sells for $6, then they're manufacturing it, their base cost is going to be around $1.50, which means a human being is probably never touching this piece of equipment. It goes through a whole automated process, spits them out at the end, throws them in a box, they go to Harbor Freight in a boat, and there it is. And it is what it is. This one was built 40 years ago by a human being who put it all together. They took some care, like this is a quality tool, and it's lasted for 40 years and it only cost me $5. Now, I did have to spend some time to find it, but this will probably last me and my kid like for the next 40 years. Whereas this, I give it maybe 4 or 5 years before it's junk. The handle will bust off. They're hard to put handles in when they're fiberglass like this. I could reprofile this edge, and I haven't tested them for hardness or anything, but I'm going to take a wild guess that this is not a great quality piece of steel, considering it probably only got built for 50 cents. So when you're looking at this stuff, it's something to think about, right? Do you want a cheap thing, or do you want something that's got some value? And is it worth the time to find a good value over just finding a good deal? Something to think about.